Have you ever come across a person or a troller who doesn't understand the definition of leave you alone? Have you ever just come across a troller who doesn't stop bothering you, just keeps causing problems every day? Or they try to make something up every month, or try to come back to you every once in a while just to get in contact with you? Well, unfortunately, I'm one of those. And this has been going on with me for how long? Many years. And we have a couple of those people who made videos about me, but I just didn't even find the appeal to respond to them. But I thought of an interesting way to respond to this type of video. The most obvious one in our list is to ignore the troller. Now, this is the best way because the troller, what they want to do is to get your attention. And most of the times, these trollers are very bored, don't have anything else to do whatsoever, and most likely they just need attention. Unfortunately, we have some trollers who will never stop, even though you try to ignore them. They will message you, and they will try to call you. And if you don't respond to them, some of them have their alternative accounts. Some of them may have an excuse to call it their business accounts or their sound account to try to contact you. Now, for whatsoever reason, after you block some of these trollers, they will contact you after you block them. You just have people that are very determined. Now, if you told them to leave you alone, and if they leave you alone and generally move on, they're pretty smart. But I hate to bluntly say it. If they tell you to leave you alone and you're still contacting them after using a different account, you're very stupid. It's not quite hard to understand the request to leave the person alone. But however, we have people who act like idiots and refuse to listen compared to Larry Hughes. Shout out to Alice, she said that's pretty gay. And that is totally gay. Chronically ill, very disgusting. Just move on with your life. And some of us are not able to handle harassment mentally online and just take it very far as we can. So some of us need friends to push us through. Your friends will give you advice, send praises, and depending on the friend you have, some of them will just tell your troller to back off. Stop harassing my friend. They'll take up for you and just take the stand to go through the trouble just to stop them. And I mean, of course, it builds more fuel when your friend starts to have an argument or a serious conversation with the person you're having issues with. But at least you know that you're protected. So if you need backup, please reach your friend, please reach your family. However, some delusional trolls will respond to this. They will say this will make you weak. No, it doesn't make you weak. And you don't need to fight alone the battle just to deal with someone being toxic or rude online. Having friends to stand up for you and protect you from problems doesn't make them a simp. It does not make them losers. And it doesn't make them the worst person. However, there are some trolls who would use that as a way to defend themselves and just to call out your friend for standing up for you. Just ignore that shit. Number three, collect information. And to collect information, this is best to have evidence of that person who is harassing you online. That way, you can use that information just to report suspicious activity on the apps/social media that you are using. You can report suspicious activity or harassment in social media, of course, like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and many more. It's important to collect evidence just in case for some people who are your friends so they can understand the issue and the problem. Now, number four is pretty difficult for some people. And what happens is when we deal with the troller, it stresses most of us out. Depending on the troller, some trolls will name call you, harass you in front of other people, including their friends who support their negativity, and last but not least, for the sweetest thing, harass you online. These trollers will do their best to harass you on one of these websites, rather if it's here, TikTok, Instagram, Amino, etc. And some of them who make content about you, rather if it's a discussion video about you or just a video with slideshows with nothing but text, they talk bad about you. Discuss things that was over and already done with in the past just to back out how bad of a person you are, yet it was already resolved and discussed. And last but not least, spread lies just to prove their point or case about how bad you are as a person. I basically seen plenty of trollers do this online instead of the usual name calling, nagging you in the comment section, or if it's personal, like messaging wise, such as Discord, Facebook, Amino, etc. They just message you just to nag you with an alternative account. But their goal is to make sure you have very low self esteem, you're stressed out, and you're worried. This is what they want: attention out of you. They want you to feel bad. And this is why they invest their time doing stuff like this just to waste it. Waste their precious time. And because these trollers who have nothing better to do in their life, they want you to stay miserable. If you follow rule number two to seek help with your friends, this will make you more confident. But however, when you stay confident, eventually that troller will run out of ideas to find a way to bother you, to distract you, to stop you from anything you're doing. Their goal is to make you unhappy. They don't want you to be confident. They don't want you to have any strong esteem with yourself. They want you to feel bad, which is the reason why their primary goal is to spread lies about you, harass you online, make that alternative account to follow you, which if they keep following you, that's basically stalking. But you have those trollers who follow you constantly. Contact your family, contact your friend, etc. All these beautiful things these trollers do online because they have nothing better to do. Okay, this one I know is going to kill a lot of people. Here's the reason. Before I even, well, got in contact with Larry's mom just to tell him everything he has been doing on the internet, especially giving people death threats. Giving people death threats, sharing porn to minors, sharing your willy out online is unnecessary. I had to contact his parents, and unfortunately, I hate to say it, I just knew the guy would be stupid just to give me his number. But sometimes you have to try to at least to see if that troller or the person who giving you an issue would at least take some consideration just to talk to. Now, however, we do have some trollers that are very complicated to talk to. They want it their way or the highway, or they want it their way or the highway, but they just want to manipulate you. So, unfortunately, I'm one of those people who have a little faith in people. If that person who is a troller is able to listen to you just to have a one on one conversation, let you say how you feel, say what's on your mind without any interruptions, without denying how you feel, denying what you want to say, and they actually take some criticism for what they do wrong. You have to do the same thing too, as well, to understand their viewpoint. But to have a mature, understandable problem solving conversation, you're going to have to take some things that you may not want to hear. And most people who are trollers do not take any criticism that well at all. Especially the one who I recently spoken to, they really just wanted their way. So you have to give up on them. And when you have those trollers who wanted their way and they're not listening, you have to let them go. But you can try to at least lend them a hand, give them a chance. Just give them a chance, just talk it out to see how they're going to act. Test some things out to see how will it go. Just to have a conversation to resolve the issue. And if they're not getting you, if they're making things up, if they're delusional, quote it, delusional, in the title, or want to remain delusional, welcome. Don't talk to them. But there are some people that you can convert to help them become a good person. But unfortunately, probably most trollers that we have dealt with online or people we have dealt with online, they probably just don't change. And some will, they're very lucky. They'll become their friend, their acquaintance, or they just move on in life. Unfortunately, one of those people that I have spoken with are still continuing, especially Larry Hughes. So, and maybe another time to discuss about Larry Hughes for that. Okay, number 6, keep working on what you're good at. Okay, if you're a content creator like me, or you're just whoever you are, you upload videos on TikTok, upload pictures on Instagram, or upload videos on Instagram, whatever social media you use, just keep doing what you're good at. Now, with number 4, I refer to staying confident because mostly trollers are people who are just delusional and just want negativity to happen. They will run out of ideas if you just stay confident and just move on. Or try to make yourself seem like you're moving on. But however, when you keep working on what you're good at, it's going to make them upset to the fact that they're going to talk about you, share it to their friends who support their negative actions, and they're going to want to either way cause a scene. And well, unfortunately, when people don't like others for what they have that they don't, or any other dumb reason, they become jealous of you. And this will help the troller to leave you alone, and they'll just eventually move on. Because the only way you give them attention is to be very negative, cry about it, excessively cry about it. If you're just bothered, that's normal, that's fine. But if you just show that you're very, very weak towards it, it gives them the attention they want. And they will keep continuing and continuing until what does it succeed? Really nothing. I mean, it's just a waste of time. Like I said, these are people who really don't have anything else better to do. They have this cheap dopamine where they feel like if you just make someone upset, unhappy, bother, it's going to entertain them versus I would think you will be more entertained and happy about doing something good like feeding homeless people, making positive, inspirational content, pictures, posts, or just helping someone out randomly versus harassing someone online, spreading lies, stalking them, being a pedophile, etc. for what these trollers do.
Hello, hello, welcome, greetings, however you greet people, I guess. This is my first time being on this channel. Well, not really, because, the other videos, but participant in a video like this. I know that for sure. So, for those of you who don't know who I am Sonic Rush 1 from 1 SR, but I'll prefer to be as Rush, just to keep it short. Or you just gotta say from Taylor and the rest of them, call me Rush Boy. Whatever floats your boat, go straight ahead. So, trolling. I know a lot of people has been trolled on the internet. It's been going on for years, and I can safely say that trolling is still been going on to this very day, and people are being trolled today as we speak. So, It's been going on since YouTube, Twitter, or any social media. And there is one thing that a lot of people should do when it comes to taking care of it, and that is blocking them. Blocking them is like silencing the prophet of truth as the arbiter. Only the Halo boys know about all this. Blocking them is very important to keep your time from wasting, and most importantly, your sanity and patience. So, the only way to not deal with their bullshit is to block them. Why you should block them is, like I said, wasting your time, your energy, your sanity, somehow, patience. So, I think that's the best way to, be at peace when it comes to the internet. And once after that, you're free to go. But if that certain person managed to make another account just to go after you, just do the process again. Just block them. It's that simple. I mean, blocking them is hard, isn't it? But, anyways, that's all I have today. Thank you, Taylor, for bringing me on here to this video. And I really appreciate it. So, yeah, I'm gonna go back, do whatever I'm doing, and trying to stop a troll myself. And that doesn't mean blocking them.
So, at number 8, I believe one of the best ways to deal with someone is to evaluate their behavior. What does that mean specifically? Well, very well put, and very simply, one of the best ways to deal with a stalker or troller or anyone of negative behavior is to study them. Follow their patterns, what they do, listen to what they say, read what they type on social media, and use that information to evaluate how they behave and what is their mindset. Why do this? Well, it was said by the great Sun Tzu himself, know your enemy, so that you can have a better understanding, so you know how to defeat them. So once you use this information against them, or you want to use this information against them, you have to be very, very careful, because it could feed into their inflated ego in some way or another. And trust me when I say this, you do not want to do that. If you feed into their ego, it would only make sure that they keep behaving the way they behave currently do, and nothing will change. Now I know this sounds difficult, because 70 to 90% of the time the reason stalkers or trollers or negative people do what they do in general is to get attention in some fashion or another. But this can be used against them if you know how to use it. Because even if they do crave attention, they will eventually gain the wrong kind of attention, and they could end up in more trouble than they realize. And it could end up, if it goes far enough, in prison, and they will soon realize, shoot, this isn't what I wanted at all. And from there, it should hopefully end the problem. It might not just 100%, but there's a very high 85% chance that if they do get into big trouble with authorities, that will end the problem. So if you do want to evaluate them, do it carefully and pick wisely how you're going to use the information you gain from them. One more step and you'll end up back to square one. Evaluation is important, so do your research and be careful.
This may sound similar to number 3, but apparently we have people like Larry Hughes who will give a death threat, or after advising them to leave you alone, they keep following you. Or you have people who force to sexually harass you. You will need to stop them every way as possible. This is more reasonable to make an exposure video about someone on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, any fucking social media. Instead, of course, if possible, you can report this to your nearby police. Mostly, you will have to report this online of any such activity that's very suspicious. But you need to do what you can do. Shout out to Jay for this. If you are having an issue with a troller online, as much of a he said, she said thing. Shout out to the person who messaged me and gave me advice. It's not worth it. Some of these content creators, however, make videos about issues they had with the such user or the person they had issues with online in the past, and they already discussed the issues. However, due to past issues, they use this as a way to back up a case and to explain that the person is such a bad person. Like, no, that just talk about the issue and get over it. However, if a person is harassing you online, which it is a threat, it is very important to stop them. You can expose a person online that's harassing you. Now, I would suggest to make content about them if you would like, if they keep doing it repetitively. Last but not least, share great things about yourself. Very similar to number 6, actually. But if you talk about good things you do, you'll get a lot of praises. You'll have people to relate to you that shares that similar skill or is proud of you. And there is hope in a good community of people online on YouTube, especially you guys who like this video and support my channel, who subscribe to my channel. You guys are the positive movement in my channel, and I appreciate that. Including the true friends who do not decide to betray me, convince people to hate me, to create another group chat, state that I'm a toxic person after admitting that I helped them, and demanding an apology about a few things that never happened and a few things that have happened, and then decide to continue problems by stalking that such person and bringing up the issue that has already been resolved. But in this case, unfortunately, this is what we have to encounter when we meet trollers online. You make a video about something that is fun or entertaining, post anything. We have those trollers online who always have something negative to say that's very hateful, very cool, uncalled for. You can post a pretty picture of yourself, they'll say you look ugly. You can post a video about any topic that you like to talk about that is not so serious, and they state they hate you. They don't like you. Your content's stupid. Any type of content you make, it is really ridiculous that we have people like that. We have a couple of people we've known in our lives that are friends, and they turn their back on us, and they decide to betray you. They decide to hate you. They decide to spread unnecessary drama. These trollers think the only way to resolve it is to talk about what issues did I have with my friend online. I had issues with a couple of my friends, and I had issues with previous friends that used to be my friends. I don't feel like I have to post any content about them. But you have trollers like that. You have trollers like Montario who do that. You have plenty of trolls like Larry who do that. I mean, Larry made a video about Nathan. Most of these trolls are the true ones who are upset in life, miserable. Because why would you stalk that person? Why would you make an alternative account just to message them after they told you to leave them alone? Stop bothering me. Move on. Why would you try to check on that person's family or their friends, any type of situation, just to see how they're doing in their life? Talk to them, pester them. Why would you be a troll to send your explicit nudes, explicit pictures, harass them, because they send a picture of themselves. Why do we have these trolls? Why do they exist? They're mostly miserable. It's just that simple. They feel like they don't have anything in their life enough to make them happy. They lack discipline. They know what they're capable of, but they decide not to change. And when you have people who do not change, they remain the same. And when they justify their actions, rather if it's lying, saying that they can't remember anything, they do wrong to hurt you, manipulating, controlling others, they're the most miserable people. Hate to say it, most of these people are mostly living in their parents' home. They're too old, need to move out their parents' home, have an interesting life, and they need to get a job, at least have a decent car, just to drive, go anywhere they need to go to do. Have a better hobby. Draw, read a book, sing songs, whatever hobby you have. Work on something interesting. And if you just cannot tolerate the internet, it's really not the place for you. You should get out for the rest of your life. But hey, we have trollers who are addicted to using the internet, however, and those trollers just do not stop whatsoever. Well, some of these trollers, they gone through some shit in their life. Rather if it's family issues, school, experiences with their past friends. It doesn't give you the right to hurt and cause infliction on others. You find the way to change yourself to become better. You try to move on and be positive. And there's probably some of you guys who tried to hold your hand to help this person who becomes worse, the troller, the betrayer. And when they turn their back on you, don't take your advice and say, "You're the worst person. You're a toxic person. I'm gonna spread all of this hate and I'm gonna pick on you just because you told me what I need to do was right. Just because you told me something I didn't want to hear." It causes confusion. This makes me very sad we have people like this. It annoys me that there are some people, and I understand, but there are people who don't talk about the issue with you maturely. They just run away and they talk bad about you behind your back. While we have some of those friends who become trollers, and there are just trollers who just randomly just message you. Most of these trollers online are very sad and upset in life. But it hurts me a lot that I have encountered some people in my life who became worse because apparently they could not stand being around me. I try to help them, and what they have done is to find anything that's very small that makes no sense to spread hatred about me and lies about me. There's a few people in life, as I mentioned from what I learned, it hurts that there are some people where no matter what you do good in life, they forbid the good things you do, and they take over this negative image to think of you in a very negative way. So, at the end of the day, you mostly just have to move on. I have to do that. But as far as this, I would say give your best to help people who are hurting in life. And some of these trolls are really just hurting in life, so they just think they just can't help but to cause problems and negativity. And if they don't, like I said, just let them go. Just hope the best for them in the future, or if you're just that hard, just to be that sensitive, which I mean, there's half of the people in the world, they just give you no mercy. They'll just tell you F off and they'll threaten to hurt you, but It's sad that we have pathetic people like this. When I was trying to give all my hope to Larry, I was hoping for Larry to at least change. You know, the guy try to force his opinion on people to like Sonic and Sally. Nothing else, Sonic the Hedgehog the series. But you don't need to revolve your life on forcing people's opinion. No one's gonna agree with everything, especially that minor. But again, we have trolls like that. And at this point, when we have people like that, you have to stay strong. And with me dealing with this on the internet, and for a few of you guys who know me for my other channel, I've been doing my best to stay strong. Anybody who's getting harassed online like this, I want you to be motivated to stay strong. Because no one deserves to be cyberbullied, harassed, trolled online. And this is the only way you have to be capable of doing this. I'm continuing to make content that makes me happy, even though I am kinda endangered with one of the trolls who is threatening my life. I'm moving on and pushing forward. But it doesn't mean that I should stop. I'm gonna keep going. And everybody else who's dealing with trolls as well, you should keep going. There's no need for you to stop.